to make another video, and this one's going to be taken from a survey of Old Testament introduction. And in the back of this book, in the appendix, it's appendix number 2, is anachronisms and historical inaccuracies in the Quran. So I've done a couple videos on the Quran, and I'd just like to go ahead and read this. So it says, anachronisms and an anachronism is an act of attributing a custom, event, or object to a period to which it does not belong, or a thing belonging or appropriate to a period other than that in which it exists, especially a thing that is conspicuously old-fashioned. So it goes on to say in Surah 11, it says Had. There. Surah 11 Had. And it says 42 through 43. Noah's unnamed son is said to have refused to take refuge in the ark while the floodwaters were rising, and despite his father's plea, chose rather to flee to a mountaintop from which he was swept away by a wave. Genesis 6 through 7 indicates that Noah had only 3 sons and that they all entered the ark. Genesis 10 gives a line of descendants from each. So in Surah 12, Joseph, peace be on him, 11 through 20. Joseph did not go seeking his brother up to Dothan, as Genesis 37 records, but rather the brothers, having already plotted his death, persuaded Jacob to let him go with them simply for fun and sport. Having gotten him into their power, they put him down into a well with water in it, rather than a dry pit. Nor was it they who sold him to the passing merchantmen, but rather a chance wayfarer who had come to the well to draw water. He sold the boy to the merchants for a few dirhams, rather than the substantial price of 20 shekels of silver, as Genesis 37:28 states. And then 21 through 32 says, his Egyptian owner's wife, Potiphar's name, is not given. In her attempt to seduce him, tore his shirt from behind rather than from in front in her pursuit of him, a fact observed by Potiphar's canny servant and which served to expose the falsity of her charge. Later, she admitted to her woman friends that this was the case, yet in some unexplained way she managed to get Joseph into jail all the same. And then 36 through 55. Remember, this is all still in Surah 12. In jail, Joseph tried to convert the 2 youths, that is, Pharaoh's butler and baker, to Islam and away from idolatry. Years later, the surviving youth, the butler, remembered Joseph's dream interpreting ability when went to him in jail with a report of the substance of the king's dream, rather than the king relating it to him directly in the palace, and got an interpretation from him, which he then relayed to Pharaoh. As a result, the king placed Joseph in charge of the nation's grain supply. The rest of the story, with disclosure to the 10 brethren, etc., closely follows the account in Genesis 40 through 45. And then Surah 26, the poets, 55 through 60. In Egypt, the Israelites were stated by Pharaoh to be but a scanty band. In contrast to Exodus 1:9, as they are permitted to leave Egypt, they are said to be forsaking their gardens and fountains and splendid dwellings. Apparently they had not been subjected to slavery at all, for no mention is made of it, but rather had enjoyed wealth and luxury while in Egypt. This renders the whole motive for deliverance of God's covenant people from Egypt rather obscure. And then Surah 2, the cow, 57 and 61. During the Exodus, the Israelites became tired of manna and demanded vegetables from the soil. After scolding them, Moses said, "Get down to Egypt, for you shall have what you ask." They proceeded to do so, and they returned with wrath from God. The record in Exodus through Numbers makes it clear that while discontented Israelites spoke of returning to Egypt, none of them actually did so. In this connection, it is stated in verse 61, they disbelieved the signs of God and slew the prophets unjustly. This for they rebelled and transgressed. On this passage, see Rodwell's footnote. This passage, see Ford 26:59, is one of the numerous anachronisms which abound in the Quran and prove the gross ignorance of the Arabian prophet. Quran, translation J.M. Rodwell, Every Man's Library, New York, Dutton, 1909, page 344. And then in verse 249 of Surah 2, when King Samuel of Israel marched forth with his forces, he said, God will test you by a river. He who drinks of it shall not be of my band, but he who shall not taste of it, drinking a drink out of the hand accepted, shall be of my band. Rodwell's footnote here calls attention to Muhammad's confusion here between Saul and Gideon. See forward Judges 7, 5 through 8. Surah 3, the family of Imran. Rodwell's introductory note to this surah points out that Muhammad supposed that Imran or Amram was the father of the Virgin Mary, Mary being Maryam or Maryam in Arabic. See forward Surah 66 verse 12. Mary, the daughter of Imran, who remained a virgin after marriage and motherhood. He also supposed that Mary and Elizabeth were sisters, and along with Zacharias, John the Baptist, and Jesus, they made up the family of Imran. It is just possible, as some Muslim authors assert, that Muhammad thought that Maryam's soul and body were miraculously preserved until the time of Jesus, 1,400 years, in order that she might become his mother, Mary. This he may have gotten from the Talmudists, who fabled that the angel of death and the worm of corruption had no power over the body of Maryam. See forward Baba Bathra 17 in Josephus' Antiquities, chapter 4, verse it says 4:4-6. Another source for this account may have been the Protevangelium of James 4, which states, "And Anna said, As the Lord my God lives, he shall be a minister to him all his days," referring to the future career of her offspring. Thus the wife of Imran says here, Surah 3:31, "O my Lord, I vow to thee what is in my womb for thy special service. Accept it from me, for thou hearest, knowest." And then in verse 41 of Surah 3, Zacharias said to the angel, "Lord, give me a token." He said, "That token shall be that for 3 days thou shalt speak to no man but by signs." Luke 1, verses 18-20, makes it clear that he was to remain speechless until the promised child should be born, or about 9 or 10 months. And then in verse 55, "Remember when God said, O Jesus, verily I will cause thee to die," or this mutawafika may also be rendered, "Take thee unto myself, and will take thee up to myself, and deliver thee from those who believe not." Rodwell's footnote here, Muhammad apparently believed that God took the dead body of Jesus to heaven for 3 hours, according to some, while the Jews crucified a man who resembled him. See forward, Surah 4, verses 156, Surah 19, verse 34. Muhammad supposed Jesus to have died a natural death, though it is nowhere stated how long he remained in this state. So they don't believe Jesus actually died. They believe he appeared to die. Surah 61, Battle Array, verse 6. "And remember when Jesus, the son of Mary, said, O children of Israel, of a truth, I am God's apostle to you to confirm the law which was given before me, and to announce an apostle that shall come after me, whose name shall be Ahmad." Rodwell notes, this apparently Muhammad got from the title Parakletos, which Jesus assigns to the Holy Spirit in John 16:7 et al., which Muhammad confused with Parakletos, famous, praised, for which the Arabic would be Ahmed or Muhammad. Surah 5, the table, verse 119. "And when God shall say, O Jesus, son of Mary, hast thou said to mankind, Take me and my mother as two gods beside God? He shall say, Glory be to thee. It is not for me to say that which I know to be not the truth. Had I said that, verily thou wouldst have known it. Thou knowest what is in me." This involves a complete misunderstanding of the Trinity, with Mary as a third person rather than the Holy Spirit. It also implies that Jesus denied he was the Son of God. See forward Mark 14, verses 61-62 in related passages. So, I just wanted to share that with you. That's some of the, I guess that's just a few of the discrepancies between the Quran and the Bible, that the Hebrew and Greek version of the Bible that Christians read and pay attention to. So I just thought that y'all might like to share that, and that's a part of the series that I have that's going to be on the Quran. Alright, hope y'all enjoyed it. Take it easy. Bye.